Try your best to hold yourself together during this video, okay, pal?
A top official from Tokyo Electric Power Company has rejected a statement by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe that the radioactive water leaks at the Fukushima power plant are under control. Kazuhiko Yamashita was speaking at a hearing on the disabled nuclear plant. The meeting was organized by the opposition Democratic Party, with officials from the government and TEPCO taking part. Yamashita was asked what he thought about Abe's speech last Saturday at a general meeting of the International Olympic Committee. Abe said the situation at Fukushima was under control. Yamashita said he believes the situation is not under control. He apologized for the leaks. He said what's happening now goes beyond TEPCO's predictions. Democratic Party Secretary General Akihiro Ohata says the Prime Minister should be held accountable.
Prime Minister Abe should fully explain to the people of Fukushima and Japan the reasons behind his declaration that the situation at Fukushima Daiichi is under control. He has to follow through on his promise.
DPJ President Banri Kaiyeda said the fact that a TEPCO official has acknowledged that the situation is not under control means a lot. He says it contradicts what Abe promised at the IOC meeting. Kaiyeda said he would call on all opposition parties to cooperate so that they can bring up the subject at an extraordinary session of the Diet. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga said what the TEPCO official meant to say was that there were some individual leaks at Fukushima. Suga said he doesn't think the situation differs from what the Prime Minister described at the IOC meeting.
A senior official from the company which operates the stricken nuclear power plant at Fukushima in Japan has admitted that the situation there is not under control. However, within hours, TEPCO released a statement saying the official meant to say something different. His comments came in response to an opposition MP at a meeting with the party. The politician asked whether the company considered the situation at the plant to be under control. "I'm sorry, but no, we don't," came the reply. In its subsequent statements, TEPCO said what the official meant to say was that there were continuous problems with storage tanks, and when radioactive water leaked out, it remained in front of the plant. All this comes as Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his government try to reassure the world at large that the facility is under control. TEPCO has admitted that hundreds of tons of radioactive water has leaked from the plant, which was crippled by a massive earthquake and tsunami in 2011. However, American nuclear experts acting as consultants for the company claim that if the water is correctly decontaminated, it can be released into the sea safely.
Engineers at Japan's crippled nuclear plant have made a worrying discovery. They've been digging into the ground at the Fukushima Daiichi site to try to track leaks of contaminated wastewater. They say a monitoring well near a storage tank contains sharply rising levels of the radioactive element tritium. Officials with Tokyo Electric Power Company reported the findings. They say the level of tritium in water samples from the well rose on Thursday to 130,000 becquerels per liter. That's more than twice the level at which Japanese nuclear plants are allowed to release water into the ocean. A storage tank leaked more than 300 tons of highly radioactive water last month. That water probably seeped into the soil. Engineers dug the monitoring well 20 meters from the tank and started taking samples of groundwater. The tritium level in those samples was 64,000 becquerels per liter on Tuesday and rose to 97,000 on Wednesday. Company officials say they suspect the water leak last month caused the increase, but can't be certain. They're also trying to figure out whether past leaks from pipes had any effect.
We're getting calls from medical doctors in Japan who are saying that they're being told by their bosses to tell their patients that none of the injuries they're experiencing are radiation related. There's an enormous pressure on the medical establishment to downplay the effects of this accident on the people that have been exposed. And I think that's awful. A physician's responsibility shouldn't be to the people in authority. The physician's responsibility should be to the public that they're serving, and that's been distorted in Japan. We're also seeing scientists in Japan who are refusing to work with other scientists in assessing these radiation damage effects, because they're afraid of their careers in this very bureaucratic top-down structure. So we're not getting any good science out of Japan, and we're not getting any good medical data out of Japan. And until those problems are cleared up, the IAEA's position will be substantiated. Everyone's saying, well, nobody died. Of course they're going to say that when the data records are distorted. So my other concern is in the broad cultural sense. The Japanese are under extraordinary pressure from high political pressure to minimize the effects of this accident so that the people of Japan are essentially a scientific experiment, but nobody's reporting the results.
Officials in Japan's tourism industry are scrambling to draw more foreign tourists to the country. They're hoping to step up their efforts, especially since Tokyo has won the bid to host the 2020 Olympics. One of the largest travel fairs in Asia, called Tabihaku in Japanese, began in Tokyo on Friday. This year, officials from 730 firms and groups in 154 countries and territories are attending the fair. They include travel agencies, airlines, and hotels. A Japanese mascot introduced local sake drinks. A tourism bus providing guidance on tourist destinations in 4 languages is also at the fair. More than 190 cities and towns in Japan took part in business negotiations. That's double the number last year. They use many colorful photos and maps for promoting tourist spots in their areas.
This is a big tailwind for our industry. More foreign tourists will be coming to Japan as Tokyo is hosting the Olympics. There will be more efforts to organize tours for visitors from overseas, so they will get to know Japan better.
And Tabihaku will continue running through Sunday.
It won't come as a shock, 'cause I never believe their lies. When the bombs fall, and they could fall any time, they're gonna end it all for a third of mankind. When the bombs fall, don't have the wool pulled over your eyes. When the bombs fall, you'll wonder how you've been so blind. When the bombs fall, and if they fall on me, my dear, you better look to the sky, 'cause your redemption is near.
Time now for the latest in business news. The Japanese Prime Minister has a big decision to make whether or not to raise the consumption tax. Uchida joins us from the business desk with more on that. Good morning. So what are the pros and cons of the hike?
Well, Catherine, the pro is that the government will have more income. The negative, the concern is that that's going to weigh down consumer spending, which of course would defeat the purpose of a tax hike. But it looks like the positives are outweighing the negatives. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is expected to decide on October 1st to raise the consumption tax. But before making a final decision, he will look into economic data and a stimulus package to make sure the tax hike will not dampen economic growth. Abe had instructed cabinet ministers to come up with the economic package by the end of this month. It's aimed at offsetting the impact of a tax hike. The package is expected to be worth at least $50 billion. Abe and Economic Revitalization Minister Akira Amari are calling for public works projects, tax reductions for capital investment, and corporate tax cuts to be included in the package. But Finance Minister Taro Aso is cautious about cutting corporate taxes. He says it could result in a decrease in tax revenue and hinder fiscal rehabilitation. The first phase of the sales tax hike is scheduled next April. The tax will go up to 8%, and that's up from the current 5%.
Iran's President Hassan Rouhani has defended his country's nuclear program. In a meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, Rouhani said the program is for peaceful purposes and that his country is ready to accept nuclear inspectors. The meeting between the two leaders in the Kyrgyzstan capital Bishkek was the first since Rouhani's recent inauguration. It came on the sidelines of a meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. She said Iran's nuclear program is a vital issue concerning Iran's interests, regional peace and stability. He urged both Iran and Western countries to focus on advancing dialogue. Rouhani said his country is willing to accept monitors from the International Atomic Energy Agency to dispel concerns of the international community. The two leaders also discussed the situation in Syria. They agreed to seek a diplomatic solution to the issue. Both countries are opposed to a U.S.-led plan to launch military strikes on Syria.
You are merely a few minutes older, but infinitely more knowledgeable than before.
Two Japanese teams have won recognition for ingenious research with a sense of humor. They received awards in the latest round of the Ig Nobel Prize, which celebrates the lighter side of science. The award ceremony was held at Harvard University. The prize was inaugurated in 1991, and it's a parody of the Nobel Prize.
To everybody else. Chemistry Prize.
A research team from Japanese food processor House Foods won the award for chemistry. They discovered an enzyme in onions that makes people cry. A team member thanked everyone who had ever been brought to tears while cutting onions. He also conveyed his gratitude to the onions.
Of course, I also thank all the onions eaten by humans. You all did a good job.
The medicine prize went to a team that included researchers at Taikyo University in Tokyo. The team investigated how mice that had undergone heart transplants responded to music. They found that mice that listened to Verdi's opera La Traviata lived longer than those that listened to music by other composers, including Mozart. This is the 7th straight year in which Japanese researchers have won the Ig Nobel Prize.